What's up, everybody? It's Todd, CEO of Strength Faction, and I have a video for you today about how to progress bodyweight exercises. So here's the deal. We're gonna have a lot of clients training from home right now, and those folks probably don't have a lot of equipment. So, being able to progress a bodyweight exercise is huge. Now, of course, we have like the progressions and regressions type stuff. Well, maybe not, of course, maybe you don't know that. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But the thing is, like, you see all these lists of 568,000 different bodyweight exercises that you can do at home. Well, that's all well and good, but how do you load them? Like, how do you load and progress these things? And I'm gonna show you 3 different things that we use to load and progress bodyweight exercises. The first one is density. So I really like density because it's simple. It's not too miserable, quite honestly, because it can get, some of the other stuff we're going to talk about can be kind of hard. And it's easier to see yourself get better. So the simplest way that we do that is with EMOMs. So every minute on the minute, you're going to do an exercise, right? However many reps. So for example, we've been doing this kind of challenge internally with Strength Faction with me, Chris, and Mike, the owners of Strength Faction, on push-ups and progressively doing more during an EMOM. So we started at 10, I'm up to 15, I think Mike's up to 20, he started a bit before us, and every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, we do the amount of reps that we're supposed to do. And you can do this with everything. I mean, I actually have a whole workout on Fridays where I do push-ups, rows, and walking lunges. The walking lunges I do with a weight vest on though. So, but the simplest way is just these EMOMs, right? Density EMOMs, starting with whatever appropriate reps for your client based on the exercise and based on the skill. So for example, if someone doesn't have the skill or the strength to do a push-up from the floor, they can modify it by getting on their couch. They can modify it in some other way, like putting their hands on their couch, and then thinking about, from a maximum effort standpoint, how many reps could this person do, and then kind of taking a percentage of that and working back. So at a time, I could probably do somewhere between 50 to 70 push-ups in a row. So that would put, starting at 10, somewhere between 15 and 20% of my absolute maximum. And that's a good place to start. Actually, by the end of 10 minutes, it was pretty hard when I started with 10. Now 15 at the end is kind of hard, and it's almost ready for me to progress. But somewhere in that range is usually a good place to start with these density EMOM things, okay? So really, really good way to load body weight exercises. Okay, next one we're gonna talk about. It's, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not quite as fun, okay? But we are gonna talk about ISOs. No secret, right? So it's simple. All you gotta do is hold your ass in place for a given amount of time. So what our favorites are lunges and push-ups. Push-up lunge and an ISO lunge and an ISO push-up. Great core exercises, great for, if people wanna work on their hips, work on their mobility, there's nothing better than an ISO lunge. It builds strength. It'll actually build power because of the rate coding and the rate of firing of the actual the nerves. So it's a great exercise to use in place of power exercises if people don't have them at home. Also a great strength exercise, which we know is a neurological adaptation as well. And really the way to progress these is in different ways. So you can just do long holds from the ISO extreme type stuff where literally you'd be holding a position for 5 minutes. You get to come out for 3 breaths when you need to break and back in for 5 minutes. You can do shorter durations and build up. You can do a bunch of series of short durations. You can do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Any of those kind of things would work. You just have to keep in mind the goal of the person. But ISOs are great, and you can really do ISO with any kind of exercise, right? So you can do a push-up ISO. You can do ISO lunges, ISO squats. You can do an ISO RDL. You can do glute bridges. You can do single leg glute bridges. You can do pretty much anything with a bodyweight ISO. You could do some kind of a bat wing on the floor if someone has a pull-up bar that they can hold on to. Any of those things are going to work really well, especially to maintain strength, right? So if you're looking at the density, man, you could do the density work It's great hypertrophy work because you can build a lot of volume into 10 minutes. So say someone starts with like 10 air squats, 10 bodyweight squats, whatever you want to call them, every minute on the minute. At the end, that's 100 reps, right? Same thing if they do 10 push-ups or whatever it is, that's a lot of reps. Here's your strength and power work with your body weight, other than jumping and things like that, which is something that we can add in as well. Plyometrics, jumping, all of those things are great bodyweight work. But as it comes to just bodyweight strength training, which is what we're focused on right now, mostly, I mean, obviously, like I said, the power stuff, ISOs can affect power output. But next one is tempo. And really, that's just affecting, the rate of movement. How fast is someone moving? Slow eccentrics with an ISO at the bottom, man, that's gonna get people moving. That's gonna get people, really working hard and feeling things with just their body weight, right? So slow squat, push-up eccentrics, row eccentrics, lunge eccentrics, any of these things, using these to progress your body weight exercises. Now, it's just like anything else. You can focus on different aspects of tempo for different times. If any of you have read Cale Dietz's work, of how they use different, the triphasic method, how they use different contractions, the same kind of thing can apply with body weight. You can start with slow eccentrics, then move on to isos, and then move on to just fast concentrics, whichever. So for example, let's say you wanted to progress somebody with a bodyweight squat. You could start with slow eccentric or down movement, maybe 5 to 8 seconds, to really, because first of all, it'll help people work on their form and pay attention to their form. And then no pause at the bottom, up fast. You could do that for a couple weeks. Then the next thing you could do is drop down, hold an ISO at the bottom for 5 to 8 seconds, up fast, do that for the next few weeks, and then just work on doing really fast bodyweight squats and build volume. You could actually work this right into your density work. So doing tempo first, and then progress into density, and then all the while build ISOs in for other work at the same time. But it's really simple to progress bodyweight exercises if you use these three things and just a little bit of your creativity.